JO. So it's a 4-act structure that is popular in Japan. Almost every anime uses it. It goes introduction, development, twist, then conclusion. I see, okay. Funny enough, Western anime or Western fictions are in a 3-act structure, but really it's closer to 4 because your 3rd act is going to contain your climax and your resolution. And honestly, those are like 2 completely different things. The resolution really only is like 5% of your narrative, which is why it gets like folded into climax so often. In almost every story that you're gonna see, the resolution happens at like the denouement of the story, right? So you're gonna have them defeat the villain or overcome the conflict, and then you're gonna have like 2 to 3 to 10 minutes of your characters being able to bask in the victory, right? Like the outcome of the story, and that is your resolution. Hardly any story just ends right when the conflict is overcome. Some stories do that because stories can be anything they want. Like, you know, there's so many different types of stories that you never know what's going to happen. But most stories engage in a resolution, which ultimately in and of itself kind of acts like a 4th act. So hearing you say that, like, I think it makes a lot of sense. Because everything else is pretty much the same, because act 1 is your introduction, and then act 2 in even Western storytelling is pretty much development, but we call it rising action. Rising action refers to your deepening of the character, your deepening of the world, interaction with the plot, twisting of the characters, that kind of stuff. Twist, where you have it, honestly would be the bottom of act 2, which is right before you transition into act 3, because the very end of act 2 is typically where the characters are at like their lowest, because transitioning into act 3, that then gives them the greatest conflict to overcome, because like they have the least amount of anything, which usually comes in the twist, right? So a lot of anime do have twists in act 2, but then a lot of Western fiction has like twists in act 2 as well to be able to drive them into act 3. Then again, a lot of Western fictions also try to reserve their twists for act 3 instead of act 2. But you know, there's whole different styles of narratives. There's 4-act structures, 5-act structures, 6-act structures, 10-act structures. There's 1-act structures, right? So it could be anything. That's the beauty of writing. It could be anything you want.